Hello everyone. Okay, in this video, I have decided to film myself reading a very popular series that has been out for years. Kind of a few mixed opinions about it, but I bought a few of these books from an op shop quite a few months ago, like near the end of last year, and I just have not read them, and I need an excuse to just sit down and start them and try and get through them because I have no idea what I'm gonna pick these up if I don't do this. So today we are going to be reading the Mortal Instruments series, and yes, I know I only have the first four. This is all I could find at the op shop, but I might only read like the first three, maybe. Just thought we could read these, see what happens. We'll film my reaction because I have no idea how I'm gonna feel about these. I read The Infernal Devices, those three, and I did really like them. I mean, it took a little bit for me to kind of get into it, but I really liked the world, the rules and the magic system and how things work and everything like that, and I did fall for the characters. Did connect with them a bit, so it got interesting, especially by like the third book. Third book, I started getting more into it. So that's what I'm expecting with these, because obviously I've read a little bit about this world already, so I might actually be able to dive into it a bit quicker, but we'll see, we'll find out. So yes, we're going to read these books and see what I think and film my reaction. Good times. It's the next day. I only read like 2 chapters last night. I didn't get a chance to read that many. Life got in the way, gym, etc. So, first 2 chapters, already interesting enough to keep me, wanting to read it. So we'll see what happens. It's bringing me back to when I read the Infernal Devices series, which I did like. I did like that series. It was good. I think there was a few moments where it was just like, what's going on? It's like dragging on a little bit. The whole love triangle thing. So I'm like kind of wondering if maybe there's going to be like a similar kind of vibe in this one too, because it's all in the same world. Also wondering how they connect. That'd be really interesting to read that. We'll see. It's been already a bit of a roller coaster. I've only read like the first 2 chapters, so let's see what happens. Good morning. It is officially the next day again, so technically day 3 of me filming this video. I thought I would get on today and update you because I'm up to part 2 in this book, and where do I even begin? What do I say? This disclaimer, I know that there's like all this stuff that's going around about Cassandra Clare, and like some people really like her, some people really don't like her books, but I mean, but we're just going into this as, no bias. There's a lot of controversy. It's just, I'm just going into this just talking about this book and nothing else. So, with that out of the way, so far, so good. So far, so good. I've actually found this interesting. I've read it pretty quickly. I mean, I know this is technically day 3 and I'm only on 100 and 40 something pages. But for me, that's pretty quick considering that everything's been a bit hectic. It kind of jumped in straight away. We're introduced to Clary and her friend Simon. Like, you get a little bit of background, I should say, on kind of her and her mum and their relationship and her and Simon's relationship and things like that. So it's good. I actually like that it's jumped kind of straight into it, because most books, sometimes it can just take way too long to get into it, and you're just like, come on, like, just get into it already. Like, it's just, you don't need all this backstory. But I think as it's going along, kind of adding the backstory, I really like. I'm actually really enjoying jumping back into the Shadowhunter universe. It's been a long time since I've read the Infernal Devices series, so I'm glad I did this. I was putting it off for a while because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. Like, a few things that were different about it, I just didn't know. I was like, I don't know, we'll put it off. But put it off no longer. We're in it. We've dived in quite a bit into it now. There's no going back. But there's also a few things I picked up. Like, the cat is also called Church, so I'm wondering if somehow it's like connected to the Infernal Devices series, if it's the same cat, because I'm pretty sure that Jem had the exact same name for his cat. Probably all connected, it wouldn't surprise me. And also, there's a scene in this where, I don't know if this is spoilers, so I'm trying not to spoil too much. There is a scene where Clary walks into a room and Jace is playing the piano and he calls out Alec, I think it is, like thinking it's someone else, which is the exact same scene that happened in the Infernal Devices series with Tessa and Jem. When I'm describing these books, these series, I'm not really, sometimes I don't really know how to describe it. Like, I listen to some people and they've got really fancy words and they like just pull all this stuff out of thin air, and in reality, it's a good book. It's all making sense. It's all adding to the story. It's making it a really good immersive experience for me. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to go around and say all these fancy words, because, I didn't study literature. I just read books for fun, because that's a hobby of mine. Yeah, I found out there's been a few little bombs dropped, which I've been a little bit surprised about so far. So that's what I'm saying. I'm really interested to keep going. I only have this much left. Things and people that are connected that you didn't realise are connected. But currently we're on chapter 10, so let's see what happens. Alright, so it's technically day 4, and I really don't have too much to update you on, so I think I'm just gonna finish the book. I think I'm like 250 pages in now. I'm gonna try and get to probably page 300 today, and then possibly try and finish it either tomorrow or on the weekend. So this book will probably take me about a week to read. I'm not as quick as most other people on here, but that's alright, we're getting there. Yes, not too much has happened. Introducing new characters that are going to be consistent throughout the rest of the series, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I'll update you when I'm done. morning, everyone. So, today we are going over what I thought of City of Bones. So, it took me roughly a week to read. Based off this first book, my first impressions were I did enjoy reading this. I thought that I enjoyed the fantasy, all the fantasy aspects and every kind of mythical creature you think of as a child's kind of in this world, like vampires and werewolves and fairies. So I did like that aspect, I really did. It was quite action-packed, like there was never too much of a break for the characters, right? But because obviously this is the first book and it's building up again, and you're learning the world again with Clary as she's kind of going through it. It kind of kept you on edge a little bit and you're wondering what was going to happen next, which I did find actually really good. There was a few bombs dropped at the end, which, I'm not going to lie, I kind of knew that it was coming. In videos and people talking about kind of the controversy and stuff surrounding Cassandra Clare and things like that before I'd even read this book. It was after I read the Infernal Devices series. Yeah, so I did hear a bit, so it kind of spoiled a few little details for me, which, it didn't matter too much. Even though I knew it was coming, it still did shock me a bit how it kind of became revealed and everything towards the end, so I was still quite shocked. It was a bit much, and I'm kind of interested to see. I don't know if interested is the right word. I'm wondering how these characters are now gonna continue kind of whatever weird relationship they got going on during the next few books, because obviously there was kind of a major plot twist in it that, you can't obviously continue something like that. So I'm kind of interested to see how Cassandra Clare's going to write these two characters and kind of what's going to be the go with them and how they're going to overcome this hurdle if anything ever happens. I'm going to try not to say anything that might spoil it. Like, I just thought might not make it, and my eyes kind of watered a little bit. I didn't cry, but I was like getting close to it, but thankfully the character did survive. Oh, it was like, that's a spoiler. You don't know which character. A few of them have some near-death experiences, let's just say that. But, one character in particular, it was like quite hard to read because it just tugged at the heartstrings a little bit. But, that got me a bit too. And just, some of the characters have definitely disliked quite a lot. And so I think her writing is very good in that way, because you kind of get attached to certain characters and you really dislike other characters, which is like the whole point. So I do like her writing style. It is easy to read. I'd recommend this book. Maybe the first 3 so far I'd recommend reading and then see how you go from there, but I am on to City of Ashes. Now, I've just started this morning. I'm on chapter 1 now. I don't know what to expect, honestly. It's like going through all the repercussions of what happened in the first book. Some of the characters are kind of being seen in a new light, good and bad. So this one's a bit shorter than the first one too, so that'll be good. It's like 30 pages shorter, but anyway, I'm keen to read it. We'll get into it, but my God, I don't. I have no words. I haven't read a book with this kind of theme, I guess, in it ever, so it's interesting to read. It's quite weird, but what you do, just gotta keep going. We're already in, we've gotta keep going. I'll come back to you with an update soon. A quick side note, I'm only on like page maybe 20, not even, of City of Ashes, and what I've already noticed is there's multiple POVs in this first chapter already, so I really, really hope that they keep the multiple POVs, because I think it would make this book 10 times more interesting, because in the first book it was good, obviously, because you're getting Clary's perspective, and obviously it is about her and being introduced into the Shadowhunter world, but I'm actually keen to go look into other people's point of views and other characters' point of views, because I think it only happened like maybe once or twice in the first book. You didn't get too many other ones. But yeah, I think it'll make the book a little bit more interesting, and being able to connect to the characters a bit more, because you'll actually be able to see kind of their thought process and what's going on in their head and how they're feeling at the time. So I am keen to keep going with that, and I really hope that she continues with it, because it's adding another level to this world, which is just, make it really good, definitely. Last night, I got to part 3 of City of Ashes. Currently, it's been another hectic ride. I mean, characters are changing, their personalities aren't the only thing that are changing. Some characters are getting more confident, for sure. They're kind of getting more out there, they're getting in the fights more, you're seeing them a little bit more in this book. There's multiple POVs, like I mentioned earlier, which I still am glad that that's a thing, because it's really good to hear their different point of views and what's going on in their head and all that sort of stuff. There's a few characters that are really just making my blood boil in this book. It's so weird. Just some of these characters are just making me so angry and annoyed, and just it's just so frustrating to read. Also, I feel like there's a bit more politics almost. There's a lot more talk about kind of their plans and what they're going to do to destroy Valentine and things like that. Clary, I keep forgetting that she's 16, because she's being written like she's in her 20s. Like every other character, like Jace and Alec and Isabel, they're all being written like they're 20 plus years old. It's like, it's hard to understand, because she keeps making these silly mistakes, and there'll be things where she'll act genuinely like a child because she still is a child, but up until those points you forget that she is only 16, and that if you're being thrust into this world without any knowledge of it and having no idea what's going on and being right in the middle of all the action, obviously you're going to make silly mistakes. And she's not written like she's a child, especially when it comes to her feelings are kind of being portrayed and her emotions. Sometimes it's very, it can be quite intense, which I guess, kids can feel like that for sure. But yeah, it just definitely seems like she's more grown up than what she is. But also she has matured a lot throughout these 2 books, because she's kind of had to. So other than that, they kind of aren't really having a break. It seems like every single chapter there's some fight or someone's almost been killed or something like that. So it has been good that way, because it's keeping me engaged, going on and talking, so a lot of talking, constant talking, and people confessing their feelings with others, and just it's a whole thing. But it's getting good. I mean, today's Friday. I started this on Monday. I think I only have just under 100 pages left, so I've read this one a lot quicker than I did the first one. There's been some ups and downs. I've been quite shocked, even though there are some things I already knew in the first book, like I said. But yeah, I still don't see how it gets to that point. I just know that things have happened, so it is still interesting to read about, even though I do know some things. But I'm keen to keep reading. Got, like I said, less than 100 pages to go, so we'll probably finish this by the end of the week, and then we'll start the 3rd book, and that'll probably be the last book I read in this video, just the first 3, and we'll go from there. I'll update you when I'm done, because there's not too much to say without major spoilers. So. as of yesterday, I have finished City of Ashes. A bit of a battle in this book, and like I said earlier, a lot more talk about kind of going to war and what's going to happen and what their strategies are going to be, and planning stuff and talking to Valentine and him kind of trying to persuade people to be on his side and stuff like that. We're going to have a battle that spans over 3 books, of course, but some of these characters, right, I've been thinking, I think I accidentally spoiled it for myself because I was looking up what Jace looks like. I found out some information that I wasn't supposed to find out yet, and I'm pretty annoyed because I think I just spoiled it for myself without even meaning to spoil it. But I'm kind of keeping an open mind, and we're just going to see. I'm still going along with the story, and just, I'm not going to try and think too much about what I found out. More secrets are being spilled, more people are finding out stuff that they didn't know, so it's like, it's been hectic to read. But I mean, honestly, there's like certain characters that are like almost being forced together, and it's like if they're in a certain situation, if you know what I'm talking about, right? Obviously problems and things that are happening where they can't be together. So like they're going on and on and on about this one particular thing about why certain characters can't be together, and yet they are trying to force these characters together. So it's like, what's actually going to happen? Because there's one more book left technically in this kind of little section. If they're pushing these certain characters together so hard, what's actually going to happen with them? Are they going to end up together? Are they not? So that's what I mean when I think I spoiled it for myself. I think I know what's going to happen, but I'm just going to keep reading and try not to think about it too much and just enjoy the story, because other than that, it's actually been pretty good. I've been a bit shocked a few times about things that have been revealed. They made it really obvious. Why did I say that? And then there's something that's like, I mean, that was just obvious from the start that was going to happen. So, it's not too predictable, but I think there's definitely a few scenes and stuff that aren't going to be predictable, because obviously if it's like you pick up on the characters' habits and their personalities and things like that are happening, so you almost kind of can predict what a character is going to do. So I think it's pretty good. But I'm like, Luke's like one of my favourite characters so far, and Simon, poor Simon, he's been through some crap. But he's still there with them. Yes, now that is 2 books down, City of Bones and City of Ashes, and I just started, today, I just started this today, City of Glass. So I'm interested to see kind of how this whole war with like Valentine and stuff's gonna wrap up in this book, because obviously, if this kept going for 6 books, I'd be just over it by the 3rd, I think. So all the characters are definitely growing, and you get to see them on their journey, obviously going through all this and like taking in kind of everything that's happening, especially since half of them have never been in this world before, and then the other half are like still learning stuff that they didn't even know happened when they've been in this world basically their whole lives. I mean, a lot of stuff's been happening, try not to swear, but I'm gonna finish this book this week. I don't know why I didn't just read them when I got them, but I'm glad I'm doing this now because they're actually really good and I'm enjoying them so much, and most of the scenes are flying by, and good, full of action, bit of romance, all that sort of good stuff that you want in these little fantasy novels. I'm kind of keen to see. I'm kind of keen also to see if this is going to be my favourite out of the 3, these first 3, because I did enjoy the second book more than the first one. It made me feel a bit more. I was definitely feeling a lot more towards certain characters. Like, some of them make my blood boil, like I said earlier. Some of them, you just want them to be together, but stuff like that. And some of them, it's like you do feel sorry for them, and you can understand why they're acting a certain way. So it's like you're definitely connecting with them a little bit. But no, it's good. We'll see what happens, and I'll get back to you. So, good times. Alright. Normally, I don't say anything too negative about books or just things in general. I try not to. I try and see the positive side of things, and there's no point in being, rude and nasty. For some reason, in this book right now, what is it, City of Glass, Jace is like really making my blood boil. His character is becoming quite obnoxious and quite hard to read, and it's just becoming quite frustrating. Honestly, it's become very frustrating. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, but like, I know that technically his heart's in the right place and everything that he's doing and saying, especially to Clary, is like, there's reasons, right? But this is my third week now reading these books. I think I definitely need a break from this world after I read this, because it's becoming a lot to read. And because I've been reading these back to back, I've been seeing how the characters are definitely like evolving and stuff, and how their personalities and things are kind of changing slightly depending on how bad the situation is or how they're feeling towards another character and kind of things like that. So, it's understandable to a point, but it's just making it hard to read. It's taking me ages to get into this. I don't want to read it at the moment, but I'm just forcing myself to kind of get through it. And it's not how I want to feel reading books, honestly. I do that sometimes with some books, but most of the time I know it's because when I get into it more, I will start to enjoy it, regardless of how I feel at the start, because most of the time I just have to give it a chance, and I always want to finish a book. I rarely will DNF a book. Literally, like, never. It never happens. Once in a blue moon. I think the whole time I've read my entire life, I've DNF'd 3 books, maybe 2. I think there was just one book I just never ended up reading and I gave it away. But mate, some of these characters are making me furious. It's just so frustrating to read right now. But we'll get back to you. Nothing's really happened. I mean, there's been a few little things, but mate, like, everyone's just so in there with their heads shoved right up there, and they're not caring about anyone else at the moment, and it's making me so angry to read. I just don't know why I'm feeling this frustrated reading this book. So, anyway, it is going good so far. Like I said, I have enjoyed this series, I enjoyed this world, I enjoy kind of all the mystical and fantasy elements that are involved in it, but yes, just currently at this point in time, the characters are making me quite annoyed. So, I'm just gonna keep going, gonna keep pushing through. But mate, I need a break after this. I'm so done. I'm so done. I just can't do it anymore. Okay. There are a few things that I need to say. I just don't know where to start today because it's now Saturday. Tomorrow I want to finish this book, but I am only on page 291, and there's almost 500 pages in this thing. I think I'm like 2 chapters away from being to part 3. I think out of all 3 books, this would be my favourite. But in saying that, I'm only like on the fence about this right now because I think I put myself in like a reading slump because it's taken me 6 days to get to 300 pages, and I have been forcing myself to read this book because I'm forcing myself to do it for this video, and I'm forcing myself just to finish it in general. It's taken all the fun out of reading this, and it's just become such a chore. But I don't know, I am liking it. Like, the bits that I am reading, I'm definitely getting drawn in, and I'm wanting to keep reading it, but the other half of me is just really like, it's just struggling to just get me, in the mood to read in general. So it's been very hard. That's why I'm saying that I'm thinking that this will be my favourite book regardless of what happens, even though, like, the headspace I've been in this week has just not been good, because I know that when I get the next 2 books after A City of Fallen Angels, that I'll want to probably read the next 3 back to back like I've done with this one. There's been some reveals that I've not expected. Oh my god, there's been some character reveals that you don't expect. There's been a few just there's been a very sad moment in this book too, which if you know, you know, but oh man, it's just not fair. Not fair. Reading this has been it's like getting to me. It's getting to me a lot. Even though I think in the title of this video I'll probably say like small spoilers, because I think there has been a few things that I've said where, like, if you haven't read this book and you've listened to this video, you might think, oh, something got it, you might think it's a little bit sus, but I'm like trying so hard to not spoil anything, because I've only just read these, and I'm sure there's a lot more people out there that haven't read these and would like to. So if you happen to stumble across my video, I don't want to give it away. But man, oh man, this book is hitting hard. It's just like, I don't even know anymore. Yes, it's Sunday. I have just finished reading chapter 17, and I thought I would just quickly come on here. Even though I can't say anything because it's all spoilers, I just need to, if you know, if you've read this, you know exactly what is going through my head right now. I'm still like processing. Oh my god, I did not see this coming, even though, yes, I did look up one of the characters and spoil it for myself, characters, what they look like and stuff, until you finish reading either a series or, up until a certain point that you can look up characters, because you will spoil it for yourself. So don't do that. Don't do what I did. But still, getting to that point and having everything kind of explained in this chapter, well, majority of stuff explained, not everything's still been explained yet, but yes, having majority of things explained, it's all just kind of coming back full circle. It's all connecting. You're realizing kind of what's going on, and I did not see this coming. I just have no words. I mean, now certain characters can be together, but it's just like, this whole time I was just like I felt so and wrong about certain characters being together, and now, it's not that bad. But still, oh god, I don't know anymore. I need to finish this. I just need to finish this, because holy moly, I need to find out what happens and how this ends. Oh my god. I have no words. I'm just I just can't believe I did not see that coming. I didn't see certain characters and how they're intertwined in all this. So, oh my god, being betrayed. It's horrible. Horrible. I knew something sketchy was going on with certain characters, but you just don't know until it gets revealed. It just makes so much sense now. It's just everything makes sense. It's just driving me insane. But good morning. It is the 27th. I don't know if you can see. The 27th of March. I finished City of Glass on Monday the 25th. I'm gonna jump on here and basically say my final thoughts because man, has it been a journey. And we've made it to the end of at least the first three in the series. Where do I even start? What do I even say? I know that the last time I came on here, I was in like a bit of a reading slump where I was just in such a bad headspace to be like forcing myself to read these books. I'm glad I forced myself to finish reading this because oh my god, some of the bombs that were dropped. I mean, it was a satisfying ending. Everything kind of came back full circle. Yeah, it ended in a really nice way, I reckon. And it definitely still lines up for the next few books. Like there's still a few questions that aren't quite answered. Once I just kept pushing to get through, I just became obsessed. I just wanted to keep reading. I wanted to jump straight to the next book, but I knew that if I did that, I would have put myself in a major slump, and I probably wouldn't have wanted to keep reading for a while. So I think I'm going to leave it these three, have a bit of a break from this world, and then come back later on. Maybe I can feel myself reading the next three books down the track when I get them, see how I go. But man, this was good. I definitely think the third book was my favourite out of all three, even though it took me the longest and it was like the hardest to get into. The world kind of just keeps continuing to be built, and there's just always new rules and new stories and new myths and legends that kind of keep coming up out of, people bringing up all these old stories and stuff. So I'd recommend even just starting off with these three because they are really good. Especially, I mean, I am kind of glad I've read them back to back because I could follow it a lot easier. Whereas if I had a break in between these, I probably would have been a bit lost, continuing and forgotten a few things. But no, really good. I highly recommend this series. Like I said on here before too, I don't normally rate books, but I think overall my experience has been quite high, and I've actually had a really good time reading these regardless of kind of what headspace I was in not too long ago. I'd give them a 4.5 just all together. I mean, individually they'd probably be a little bit less, but like all together, I would recommend just reading these three all together. They are good. They are really good. They will suck you in, and you'll be thinking about the characters even after you stop reading them because that's what happened to me. Ever since I stopped reading this book, I've still been thinking about the characters and just, the way it ended, and it was just a really good, nice ending, even though some stuff happened, especially in the third book. There was a really sad moment that got me a little bit, but other than that, it was really good, and I would highly, highly recommend these. I don't think there's too much else for me to say. If there's anything I've missed, I'll probably just jump back on while I'm editing and let you know. But thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions or anything, let me know down below. But yeah, no, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.